to work that every single day.
Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's Fireside Chat. I'm Roger Knick. I'm here with Charlie Wampfler, the director at Ethan Allen Preparatory. I'm the founder and CEO of the Golf Performance Center and the Junior Golf Hub. So welcome. Hopefully tonight's going to be very informative and you can get some great information about the Golf Performance Center and Ethan Allen Preparatory. So really excited about our story and sharing with you where we came from and where we are today, and hopefully you have some questions for us. At the end of the show tonight, we have question and answer. So make sure you put any questions in the YouTube chat, or do they have an email to send to? Or you can send some questions to the 5 Elements at the Golf Performance Center as well. So welcome any questions. So look forward to having a good discussion about what we're all about, and hopefully we learn more about you as well. So, without further ado, let me talk a little bit about kind of our journey and how we got there, or got here, I should say. So the Golf Performance Center created and started in 2006, and it was really more about the golf and what we did and how we wanted to develop young people in the Northeast. And I grew up down south, and I thought, you know, golf in itself, there were so many players out there and so many young people that wanted to play golf, but in the Southeast, there's a lot of burnout. You know, we saw that happening quite often. As young athletes, they were really focusing on the results so early on in their development. So one of the things that I thought, as I became more involved in golf, I didn't really grow up in golf. I was more in baseball and football. But as I, passed through kind of professional baseball ranks and then into golf, I really started to realize there was no real golf journey and there was no golf development process out there. And so as I moved from Florida to the Northeast, I started thinking about what could happen, what can we do to help these young people really develop into, hopefully, not only good golfers, but great people in the classroom and on and also off the golf course and in life. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that every athlete had an opportunity to develop not only their golf skills, and also academically, and then also on life skills. And again, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about the life skills, because very few people are going to go on and be a professional golfer, but we're all going to go on in life, we hope, right? So it's really more about that. So kind of thinking about what that development looked like, the big thing for me was understanding what those 5, I always follow the philosophy of 5 elements of success. And that's so important, and I kind of wanted to make sure that our golf academy had those 5 elements intermingled in everything that we did. And then as we created the Ethan Allen Preparatory, we wanted to make sure that that also went into the curriculum there and how they thought of things. So, and if you haven't or are not aware of the 5 elements of success, the 5 elements of success to me is that desire to want to improve and learn and be better. And it really all starts with that, and that individual who wants to have that and has that intrinsically, and not just from someone else saying, hey, you should do this, but it really is that intrinsic desire to want to improve. And then also finding good coaches and good mentors around you, making sure that you have that information and having somebody who can critically help you and not help you in a way that's it's just an opinion based, but it's based on science. It's based on information that is tried and true and that's been tested, and that's really so important, I think, for a lot of people to understand that. And I also think, from the physical aspect of it, you got to have, the physical and nutritional, part of this, because, obviously everything that we do in life takes our brain, it takes our body, it takes everything that we need. So that functionality, and when I say function, it's the physical function of the body, but also the brain, and being able to do the right things or do the things you want to, to do in golf, and whether it's life or learning. So that's a big part of it. And then the mental skills, and having those mental skills and understanding failure is a process and a part of success. So having that growth mindset and that grit to kind of move through those obstacles that might be in life. And I think that's so important for young people to learn and how, develop those skill sets early on, and not just kind of think that it's, golf is a mental game, but everything we do has a mental component to it, because our brains are working, right? So then actually having the right equipment. So making sure that you have the right equipment. So whether it's golf clubs, school books, or iPad, or whatever it may be, having that right equipment around you, and that's so important. So those 5 elements for us are an integral part of everything that we do, and it sets up everything for our young people. And hopefully, as they move through this, it's not just about the golf that they're developing. Those 5 elements, kind of go into every part of our lives, and everybody can use those to be successful. So I think it's really important that that as a parent, if you're thinking about sending your kid here to Ethan Allen Preparatory or to the Golf Performance Center, is that that those 5 elements are interwoven into the fabric, if you will, here. So I think it's really that important. And I know, Charlie, you talk about that through the academic side at Ethan Allen Preparatory. So I think it's really, really cool when the kids see and feel that from your side of, your point of view from an academic, but also then they go up to the Golf Performance Center and they see, wow, you guys kind of had this holistic approach to developing, and that's so powerful for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things that I love most about the 5 elements is, I think it is what got us here today, is that it started with that first element of the desire. We had kids that wanted to pursue their passion of golf. They were up at the Golf Performance Center every day wanting to be able to spend more time there to be able to achieve their goals of playing at the levels that they wanted to be at, and they weren't able to because of the constraints of their current school system or whatever it was. They weren't able to make that time to pursue that. Yeah. So I think the desire really is the thing that brought us here, is that we were able to create a space where kids were able to pursue that and pursue that desire to get better in all of those different aspects.
Yeah. Well, as we know, golf and academics are full-time jobs if you want to reach the highest levels, right? So college level, and I know a lot of our kids here, or I would say 99% of our kids here, want to pursue the college level of standards of golf and also a high-achieving academic school. And we know that's very difficult. We know that those time restraints are difficult on anyone, let alone a young adolescent who's going through all the things that they go through, through puberty and kind of peer pressure and the things that they have on them today. I think it's really important that you actually put yourself in the environment that's going to be the most conducive to achieving those great things. And as we say, it's achieving your greatness in the classroom, in the golf course, and in life. And I think that time factor is such a big piece of this, right? So creating the Golf Performance, creating Ethan Allen Preparatory, having kids at the Golf Performance Center when we didn't have Ethan Allen Preparatory, really led me to think about what academics look like. What is, what's going to be the most efficient for them to kind of, achieve something they really value in their lives, which is golf, and that high level golf or competitive golf, but also that high level of academics and what they want to accomplish there as well. And I think, from a parent myself, I have 3 kids, and I think about, what goes on in their lives and how that impacts where they go and what they think about. I think about, wow, it's just hard to get kids, in 5 different places, within a 2-hour time frame, and then add on maybe 3 or 4 hours of homework after school. So we really, as I really think about how and why this was created, was, we started talking to universities and schools and said, what are they looking for in the student athlete, and how are they going to be prepared when they get here, and what kind of success do we think they're going to have when they get here or get to their school? And we heard it time and time again, Charlie, which was, well, we want to see a kid who advocates for themselves, who knows that, hey, what it's going to take to be successful, and they're intrinsically motivated, and they have good mentoring, have good coaching, that they're going to be able to move through those obstacles that they're going to face in life, right? So whether it's getting an A or a B or a C or a D, they know that they can get through that. So I think that's so important when we kind of think about this. But having that time to be able to focus on the things that you love, and then have a passion for learning, and that appetite and curiosity for learning really helps that individual develop. And I think that was so important to me when I started seeing these young people succeed by doing this, by creating Ethan Allen Preparatory. It was really I would say it's amazing, right? It's amazing to see how they engage and advocate for themselves, saying, hey, I want this, Mom and Dad, and I want to be able to go there and spend my time learning in an environment that's good for me, and then also learning from a golf perspective and playing golf, their passion. And we know the universities really love that. We know that they're looking and seeking that type of individual, because they're not worried about whether they're going to come and go to the class or be successful in class, because they are choosing to do this versus feeling like they're made to do this. And I think that's a big difference too.
Yeah. And
I know you do that in the classroom environment as well.
Yeah, I think going off of that too, what colleges are looking for, it's having those skills. It's also what skills are setting them up to be successful at college.
Mm-hmm.
And being a student athlete is totally different than just an average student. You have so much more on your plate, probably 90% more on your plate than the average student. And so what's the dropout rate? 50% dropout rate?
Nearly 50% dropout rate of freshmen when they go to high achieving school systems. Schools,
and a lot of those aren't because they lack the ability to be able to succeed. They're not set up with the skills to be able to succeed going into it.
Right.
So the skills that we're talking about, self-advocacy, time management, those are all executive functioning skills, and you'll hear me say it all the time. But those are the important skills where you need to allow your kid to fail enough to learn them, and we were talking about that earlier. But having the ability to be in a safe environment where we know what skills we're trying to get them to reach, and giving them the space and independence to be able to learn them and grow into them, so that when they get to college, it's not this shock of, I have to manage my practice, getting homework done, reaching out to my coach, my mentor, whoever. It's like, hey, we've been doing this for 4 years. I've got it under my belt. I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, when we talk to our college coaches in kind of in our circle of where a lot of our kids have gone on, and over the last 20 years, I've had nearly 100 athletes go to 80 some odd different universities, and so we've been able to grab a lot of information and data from a lot of coaches that say, when your kid comes to our program, we don't have to worry about them. We know that they're working towards their own goals, and they know that that's going to be a part of their success there, or their team's going to be more successful, because that kid's bringing another kid along with him in a sense of his time management, being able to go through his practice sheets, being able to go to the workouts with a good attitude, not going, oh, I don't want to go because I've got this going on or something else going on. But there is a real life learning there for them, that they actually know how to manage that. And I think that's so important. And as we were saying earlier, is that really golf, college golf, or any sport in college, and academics, you're talking about at the Division I level, it's a typical kind of, you got two jobs there. You got a 40-hour work week in the golf side of things, and you're going to have a 40-hour work week in academics if you're going to achieve your highest level of learning, if you will. And so I think it's really important that parents understand, and the young athletes understand, when you're asking to do this, you're asking to do something that only a rare few really do or get a chance to do this. So 1% of that high school population, of the junior golf population, is going to go on to play a college sport. So it is demanding, it's rigorous, and it's a I would say for a lot of them, it's the honor of being able to play for their team and their alma mater that really drives and motivates them. And then it's the other part of that, which is their self kind of image. So looking at that and tying that to themselves and saying, I've accomplished this and I've worked hard to this. What else and what better way to kind of go through your life knowing that you've set yourself up for success, not just from a golf perspective, not just an academic perspective, but in a life perspective, meaning that, hey, I know how to work hard and get things done because that's my goal, that's my dream. So I think it's really important that, parents and those young athletes, understand that. And I think, from the Golf Performance Center, from Ethan Allen Preparatory, and even our juniorgolfhub.com, where we actually help connect, those young, athletes and their parents and college programs together in that community. I think it's really important, the whole spectrum. And so it's really, I think it's a neat thing that we've done and being able to create and looking at it now 4 years into it, it's continuing to grow, and it's really having this idea that, hey, this community is now starting to really gel, and I see the young people here on campus, helping each other, getting through hard times and going through good times, right? And I see that so well. So, Charlie, tell the audience more about Ethan Allen Preparatory and what you guys do on a daily basis.
Yeah. So Ethan Allen Preparatory set up, we basically simulate a college schedule so that kids are set up for success when they get there. So they spend half of their day on academics and half of their day on golf, and then sometime get for free time and hanging out with each other, having fun. Yeah. But on the academic side, we currently use a platform called K-12 Private Academy. So it's an online platform, but we really consider ourselves a blended learning model. So that's a different term for a lot of people, and I think immediately when you hear online, you start to kind of, oh no, we're going through that with the quarantine and shy away from it. But
or lesser than too, right? I mean, one of the things we've heard, it's online and it's this, and the reality is that's not the case.
Not the case at all. It is a rigorous program, and it's designed to be online, which is the beautiful piece of it. So a lot of schools that are going online, they're not designed to be online. So they're not set up to be engaging or have teachers that are used to doing that. All of the teachers on the private academy are actually trained to deliver material in that digital platform. So it's really engaging. They appeal to many different styles of learning. So there's ways to learn that are different than just your typical brick and mortar classroom, where you can watch videos, you can go back, rewind, stop, take notes where you need to. And it really allows you to move at your own pace. So the blended learning piece of that is we also have staff in person that work with kids on a daily basis on those executive functioning skills. So we every day go through kids' classes with them, make a daily plan. They time manage every single day, so they're making a plan that lays out how much time they're going to spend on each thing. They learn priority, and then they really look at it on a visual schedule to see, can I fit this into my academic time before I go to golf, or do I need to move this to study hall, which we also do. So as well as the online support, having the staff here in person has really just made such a difference in, I think, the kids' learning and what they're able to access just with both platforms.
Yeah, and that really goes well with the efficiency of time when we talk about the efficiency. And yes, I would say if you ask any of our student athletes and parents, they'll tell you it is a long day, it is a tough day, but it's very efficient also in the sense of, they are moving through their academics with, the focus on themselves and not having to worry about, maybe a bigger classroom environment where other kids are distracting and maybe you're not participating, but this is full-on participation, and it's for them, and and they're doing it for themselves, which I think is just a wonderful thing, because again, everybody learns differently and at different paces, and I think that's one of the things that we will talk about academically that's so different in what we're doing and what's really out there, and then it's and the flexibility that we get from that or gain from that really helps the kids move into what they really love, which is their golf and what they're trying to accomplish, which is their goal of playing college golf. And I will tell you that not everybody's going to play college golf, but I would say a high percentage, nearly 97% of our kids who do come through GPC and EAP go on to play college golf, and they are very successful at those levels. It's because they've learned the skills that was necessary to be able to manage their time and be able to put in the time necessary to get develop those skills too, which is important. So I think it's really something that we've seen a lot of success with. So the efficiency of time is also a big factor of this.
Yeah, definitely. I think another important thing to touch on, we were talking a little bit about perseverance when it comes to having the grit to move through a rigorous program that it takes to us, and then to play a collegiate level sport. There's a lot of perseverance in that, and what comes out of that on the other end of in life, the success in life. And one of the great things about Ethan Allen Prep too is just the mental health side of things that we really focus on. And that has really started with the team that we've built here of staff with psychologists, clinical psychologists. I mean, you look around, you see one in arm's reach. So it's definitely something that we focus on and know that these kids are really pushing themselves on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of stress that comes with that. So we do check-ins with the kids at least weekly to see where they're at and make sure that you know, they are setting themselves up for that success, to be able to persevere and not just expecting that of them, but to really help them and show them how you do that. I think is something that's often missed, that you just expect people to know how to, but some people don't.
Right, and I would say a lot of young people don't know that, and I think that's the thing that's very tough in doing this. And I think also one of the things that we see, a lot of our parents and even the kids come in and say, well, I'm expected to play college golf if I come here. No, it's still about the time, the quality of time that you put in. It's not a given, and by the way, it's not a means to an end either. So one of the things we talk about a lot is that long-term development and the idea that this is for a lifetime, and everything that we're doing is not just about the means to an end for a college scholarship, because they're very rare. And now that the landscape is very competitive, and you see a lot of schools now who are actually pulling back on programs. I mean, there's Ivy schools are not even, have golf, this year, for example. And obviously it's a difficult year with COVID-19 and things are happening, but the reality is that schools are still looking at this and saying, well, golf is not a revenue generating sport, and kids are coming here to learn and not just play sports. And I think sports still are a major means of development in all aspects of life. So I hope that golf will come back to a lot of the schools that have pulled golf away right now. So it's not a given thing. It's not a scholarship thing, because at the end of this, it's really, what am I doing to help my kid develop? What am I doing? What am I putting every effort I can to help them develop wholly in a way that's going to help them in life? And unfortunately, I think we see a lot of kids who do get lost in that shuffle when they go to maybe bigger private schools, or maybe they go to the public schools and they are trying to achieve something, such as playing golf at that level. And it's just very difficult, and we do see it often, and sometimes we tell them this may not be the right fit for you and or someone out there, and that's okay too, but it's got to be the right fit as well. Just like when you're trying to choose a college, it's got to be a right fit. So it's not coming in and looking at this as, hey, I'm going to do this and I'll get a college scholarship. It's no, I'm doing this to better myself and be the best person I can be and be the best student athlete I can be. So really important kind of mindset there, I think, which is a little bit of a shift, because I think people look at the Golf Performance Center as something that says, hey, you're just going there for golf. And I'll tell you that my athletes, the athletes who've gone through the Golf Performance Center, and now having a lot of history, I get kids all the time coming back and saying, I appreciate it, I get it now. Now I understand what the 5 elements are all about. And it wasn't about golf. It was about what made them better at life, and what made them better in school. So that is the thing that I love most about what we're doing. And it's not just about whether they shoot 68 or 82. It's what they're gaining from this and this experience. And I think with Ethan Allen Preparatory now being able to expose that as well to them, it's so really refreshing to see and fun to see as well.
Definitely. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I feel like we've covered a lot of the information.
We have.
Should we switch over to some questions?
Yeah. We have any questions out there?
We do. One question we have is, do you have an EAP program in Florida?
Do we have an EAP program in Florida? Well, the great thing about our EAP program, because it is online, it does travel. So we've had a location down in Florida the last few years, and our student athletes will go down, and we'll have our mentor coaches go down, or our academic coaches go down with them. So is it permanently down in Florida? Not at the moment. We're working on it.
Okay, and related to that, we have a question. What does the schedule look like in the winter time?
Great. Why don't you talk about the academic schedule? And it actually flows pretty well. So, and it is with COVID right now. It's a little bit
different.
It's a little different. But typically, our program starts. All of our program days start with a workout, because we believe in getting the body going, get the brain going, awake. Obviously, you can learn better. So that's really important to us. I think it's a big part of our overall philosophy: function dictates form. So that starts the day. So they'll go up to GPC or Golf Performance Center, and they'll do their workout. They'll come back down to EAP main campus or Golf Performance main campus and have breakfast. and then they'll go start academics in the morning. So from 9 to, was it 12?
Yeah, 9 to 12, 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30. Yeah, so they'll go to academics. Then they'll break for lunch, and then they'll go back up to Golf Performance Center and do their golf, afternoon practice time. And then 4:35, they switch, come back down for dinner and study hall, and that's kind of their day.
And I guess speaking onto the winter aspect of it, because I think one concern might be not being able to practice outside or play outside.
Okay. Oh, that's
so
what
maybe
you're getting at,
explaining a little bit
Yeah.
about our indoor facility as well.
Yeah, so a big part of that, so the great thing about the Golf Performance Center is we have 8 indoor-outdoor bays. So, we will be outside as much as we possibly can. I know in the Northeast, a lot of concern is, oh my God, it gets too cold. But, again, indoor-outdoor bays, great. The adverse conditions, most college programs, or a lot of college programs, they're going to be playing in inclement weather. They're going to be playing in cold weather. So we also train and develop outside as much as we possibly can. The other part of our winter program is that we also have 5 to 6 weeks where we travel to Florida. So part of that Florida program is that the school here, GPC, and the Achieve kids will go down for 5 or 6 weeks. They'll study, do their same schedule down there, and then actually play or practice or play in a tournament on the weekends, and then come back to GPC.
Yeah.
Okay, do we offer summer camps?
Yes, we do. We offer a summer program, not only for Golf Performance Center, but we also offer an enrichment program for Ethan Allen Preparatory.
Great. And one question about tuition. Can you just explain how that works?
The question about tuition, good question. So tuition is based on, if you're looking for price, the tuition, it doesn't vary. The tuition is based on the 3 programs. So you look at Ethan Allen Preparatory from an academic standpoint, and that's part of it. And then you look at the boarding process, or the part of the boarding and room and board, and then you're looking at for Golf Performance Center. So those are basically your 3 parts of your tuition, and we can talk about that, and we can send you some more information about the cost of that. But there are scholarships also available for that as well. So you can send in information, and we can certainly talk more about tuition cost and how you may be eligible for tuition or scholarship.
And one question came in over email about boarding versus day students. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have both options. We definitely recommend the boarding option because we've mentioned the days are pretty long. So they are starting their days at 7 a.m. and ending their days at 8 p.m. most of the time. So if you don't live 5 minutes away, after a long day, having a drive like that can add on to the stress and being tired. So we definitely recommend the boarding option if that is available at that time for you, because just with the schedule constraints. But there are day options available, but it's the same hours, so they don't vary based on if you're a boarding student or a day student. It's still basically 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah, and I can add a little bit to that, because I think when we talk about how long the days are, the reality is it's still a shorter day than most of the traditional after-school golf program days are, right? So we still have kids who go to school usually getting up by 6 a.m. or maybe 6:30, and they're getting on a bus or going to school, and then they're doing their school day. They're getting out at 2:45 or 2:30, and then they're traveling to Golf Performance Center, and they're spending their 3 hours here. They're spending an hour in the car, and then they're going home and doing 2 to 3 or 4 hours of homework, and they're staying up until 11, 12 at night. And obviously that's been one of the biggest issues with the traditional school model right now, is the inefficiency of time. So again, it sounds like a very long day, but as we talk about, it's a very efficient day for them, and it's rigorous, but it's efficient. So they're actually able to rest their heads a lot earlier. Yeah. Any more questions?
That's it for questions.
Okay. So any questions on admissions, please, admissions at ethanallenpreparatory.com or ethanallenprep.com, sorry. So send in any questions there from admissions. If you have any questions, you can email me as well, Roger at the golfperformancecenter.com, and I'm sure Charlie.
Yep, and Charlie, it's a long email. Charlie. One more question. I'll give my email after this one then.
One more just came in. How long are the summer camps? 1 week, 2 weeks?
I think they're typically 4-week. There's 2 4-week blocks. So there's 1 4-week block at the beginning of the summer, a little break, and then another 4 weeks at
Correct.
the end of the summer.
Correct.
That's it. My email is charlie.wampfler@ethanallenprep.com.
Great. Well, we look forward to hearing more from you. So please tune in to our next Fireside Chat. But also any questions or concerns, please send away to the YouTube chat, or also, as you said, admissions at ethanallenprep.com. And you can also email me again at roger@the golf performance center.
Have a great evening.
Yeah, have a great evening and happy holidays, and thanks for joining us this evening.